This conference will now be recorded.
Oh, village?
Yeah, I paid mine tonight too.
Yes, she's not. It says recording in progress.
I think we're recording.
Thank you. Well, thank you. You're in closed session.
The Cottage Grove Town Board will hold a public meeting beginning at 7 p.m. on Monday, January 17th, 2022 at the Town Hall, 4058 County Road. And you can also join the meeting by GoToMeeting. We have a quorum present. The meeting was posted at the Town Hall and on the website. I'll call the meeting to order and we'll stand for the flag pledge.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you. We have the minutes of our last meeting, January 4th, in your packet.
I'll move approval.
Second.
Presented with compliments to the clerk. This one, I can't believe all the details.
Motion by Williams, second by Duplay to approve the minutes for January 4th as presented. Any discussion? Hearing none, all in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Motion carried. We have some closed session minutes.
Those things, huh? Move approval and that this should stay closed for them.
Second.
Motion by Duplay, second by Williams to approve the minutes and that they should remain closed until matters resolved. Any discussion on the motion?
No.
Hearing none, all in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Motion carried. Finance report, approval of bills.
I move that we approve checks 35-158, which is being voided, and 35-159 to 35-188 be paid.
Motion by Duplay, is there a second?
Second.
Second by Anders to void check 35-158 and approve checks 35-159 through 35-188. Any discussion on that motion? Hearing none, all in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Motion carried. You have the unaudited cash and investment balance of $7,559,400.48. And you have the December building permits.
Motion to approve the building permits as presented.
Second.
Motion by Anders, second by Duplay to approve the December building permits as presented. Any discussion on that motion?
Yeah. one question. You have to have a permit to raise a silo
Yes,
to get dump,
Demolition,
tear it
yeah.
down? You do it.
because it's a structure that you're being taxed on.
Oh, okay.
If you
okay.
don't, it's gonna stay there
Got it.
until the next revow. So you want to take out that permit. If there's no other discussion, all those in favor signify by saying aye.
All right.
Opposed, same sign. Motion carried. You also have the monthly report on court. Any questions on that report? Looks very nice.
Yes.
Yeah, let me know if there's anything
No, it looks super.
that she should get.
Moving on to public concerns, public's opportunity to speak to the town board about any subject that is not a specific agenda item. We have anyone online for public concerns?
I just have it for you, this will be the 4th,
Oh,
February 4th.
sorry.
Did you say February 4th?
Yeah.
All right, no public concerns, any road right-of-way permits?
You have three. Two for charter. They're pretty simple, small ones. This one's up in Clipper High. They're gonna run in front of 3 houses, I think, for hookup. And this one was the Conestoga one, which is just along with some of the properties, replacing the 2-inch duct. And then the last one is TDS Metrocom. And this is fiber, running fiber along Tremrite, Hope, South Loop. So they're getting down in the area where Charter's installing this stuff now. And we'll ask them to do the same thing, you know, follow the same area with heads and stuff like that.
So we had a deposit for charter. Do we need to do anything like that with this?
This one's not a large scale, but I mean, we might want to think about something like that.
Probably wouldn't hurt. We don't know what they're gonna be like.
I think just the one that I emailed you back that that we needed to change their amount.
Yeah.
They had to add some borings.
Did you change that? I changed it on the copy that I have waiting for them to come in and pay, but
Yeah, not on that one, no. That one's still the $800 one.
is it like 12 or 14?
Yeah, something like that.
I'll make a motion to approve the right-of-way permit for TDS Metrocom on Hope, South Hope, down in that neck of the woods, and then the other 2 for Carter.
Motion by Anders, is there a second? By
Second.
Duplay to approve TDS Metrocom and the 2 charter road right-of-way permits as presented. Any discussion on the motion? Hearing none, all those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Motion carried. Next item is review December police activities. We have no one here and we haven't received
Didn't get a report this
a
month.
report.
So,
I assume everyone saw that Brian is retiring
Oh, yeah.
effective February 1st. The current list is still available. I've contacted the 3 people and we're trying to find out when we can do interviews.
so Lieutenant Triggs is waiting to hear from Captain Tetzlaff, so I don't know what exactly he's waiting to hear, but anyway, that's where it still was as of this morning.
Yeah,
So,
well, hopefully we can get the interviews done soon and get someone hired to replace Brian as soon as possible. Moving on, discuss and consider approval of a parade or race permit for Megan Ramsack, applicant for American Parkinson's Disease Association half marathon and 5K run walk on April 9th, 2022 to include glacial Drummel Trail crossings.
So I can report that they do have an agreement in process with Deer Grove. They actually resubmitted maps like right before I sent your packets out. The prior version of the maps, so you have the right ones in your packets, but the prior versions were using some streets and stuff. Now they've got it focused entirely on the trails. So, but all three of them do use the trail. Actually, let's see. The 5K doesn't even really get out into the town because it doesn't even get to up off road. And neither does the 1 mile option. So it's really just a marathon that crosses the town roads. And it crosses at up off Ridge and Dvorak. Well, it's on the Dvorak, which is right at the edge of the town, kind of, more or less.
Yeah, that's right. You know, where we meet.
Yeah.
And they want to use our parking lot, is one of wants to use parking
Yeah,
lot.
that's in the next agenda item, but then they also have requested that to use the 2 halls and also the parking lot, and they would like to use the halls at the town resident rate.
I will move approval of the half marathon 5K run walk on April 9th to include glacial Drumlin Trail crossings, as long as they have an agreement with Deer Grove EMS in place.
Motion by Williams, is there a second?
Second?
Second by Dupuy to approve the parade or race permit, the half marathon and 5K run walk on April 9th. And they have to have an agreement with Deer Grove EMS. Any discussion on that motion? Hearing none, all in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Motion carried. Next item, discuss, consider approval of the American Parkinson's Disease Association to pay the town resident rate to rent the town hall for race registration on April 8th and Flynn Hall for race headquarters on April 9th, and to utilize the town hall parking lot for participant parking on April 9th.
What's your status and all that?
I got no problem with it.
Saturday.
Yeah.
Oh, it's all on a Saturday? Well, isn't
Yeah.
that,
Right, the Friday,
Friday at Flynn Hall.
Friday is here where they do their registration. It's usually late in the day though.
Right, afternoon.
Yeah,
Mhm.
Right.
I don't have any problem with any of it.
They've used it in the past, haven't they?
They've done this for several years, yeah.
Yeah.
Then I'll move approval.
Motion by Williams, is there a second?
second?
Second by Dupuy to approve the American Parkinson's Disease Association to pay the resident rate for the rental of town hall on April 8th and Flint Hall on April 9th, and for use of the town hall parking lot on the 9th. Any discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Motion carried. Next item is discuss and consider approval of sub 1 to OA 002 amendment to Dane County sign ordinance. Have you heard anything from Towns Association on this?
Not in a while. Just trying, matter of fact, I'm trying to think back. I don't think there was any objection to it.
I didn't see anything in it that stood out as problematic for
Not for
anything.
us.
Yeah,
I guess the only thing that kind of bugged me a little bit, I mean, it's not a, holdup, is the fact that 30 days for a temporary sign, I mean, doesn't necessarily, considering what it used to be 90 days, I could,
with 60 days going to 30 days.
yeah.
I move approval of sub 1 to OA 002 amendments to the Dane County sign ordinance.
Motion by Duplay, is there a second?
Second.
Second by Anders to approve sub 1 to OA 002 for the sign ordinance, Dane County. Sign ordinance. Any discussion on that motion? Hearing none, all those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Motion carried. Next item, discuss, consider quotes to install town hall water softener.
We don't have one at all.
No, we don't.
I thought we used to.
No, we have one at the fire station.
Yeah, one at the fire station.
Never had one here.
Huh.
And the problem with the water fountain was related to the hard water.
Yeah.
So if we replace it, then we want to then have the same problem with it later.
I didn't know they softened the outside water at the hose bill.
They'll do the whole building.
I know, but, okay.
Yeah.
Why
You don't,
would
you don't have
use-
to. On your home, they normally don't. They just do the hot side.
Right, yeah,
Right.
that's kind of what, do we want them to do? What, I'm just thinking,
Like-
what happens if we get a real dry spell and you decide to start watering the grass or whatever else like that? Do we want to spend the
Well, you
money?
can turn,
We can
you can
shut
turn
it
the
off.
softener off.
Huh?
We could shut it off.
Yeah, that you can turn off.
The water softener, we can shut it off.
You still have water go through in the building, but it'll
Yeah.
be shut off.
Not going through the softener.
So it'll be put in there. So then there's a shut off on each side of it. So we could actually bypass it if we want to.
Okay,
That's the way both of them described it, how they would install it anyway.
So we have two quotes, one from Dave Jones for $1,300 for a water softener. And the other one is from Monona Plumbing and Fire Protection. And that one was for,
$12.95. $5 less.
yeah, $12.95.
Which one looked best to you when you were looking at that?
I mean, Monona was way more detailed. I mean, that's all that they gave us from,
Yeah, that was kind of,
so.
I'll move approval of the Monona Plumbing and Fire Protection.
Before you do that, where are you gonna get the money? If we didn't budget anything for,
ARPA funds, water,
There we
ARPA
go.
funds. We could water
Why
improvement,
not?
Totally can.
theoretically. I mean, if I watched that video,
Yeah, that's
Yeah.
it.
No.
Water is a problem that we've had emerge. Yes.
that or undesignated as a fallback perhaps.
Right. And Deb's undesignated as a fallback.
okay, motion by Williams, was there a second?
Second.
Second by Duplay to approve Monona Plumbing bid for a new water softener to use ARPA funds as our first choice, with fallback being undesignated for $12.95. Discussion on the motion. Hearing none, all those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Motion carried. Then we have discuss and consider quotes to replace the town hall drinking fountain. Monona Plumbing was $22.50 and Dave Jones was $27.50.
Motion to approve Monona Plumbing for the 2250 using ARPA funds with a undesignated as a fallback.
Second.
Motion by Anders, second by Williams to approve Monona Plumbing's bid for $22.50 using ARPA funds with undesignated as a fallback. Discussion. That option that they had to relocate the drain and water to accommodate ADA requirements if necessary and install a stainless steel panel to cover the access area was $785.
That's only if it had to be done. They weren't sure, but they didn't think so, but they might end up having to do that.
Hmm.
I think the Dave Jones guy, he just added it in his quote because he said I think he's, the way he worded it, they're just gonna do it to cover their butt, basically.
Did you want to include that in your motion or not?
How is the fountain, because of the height of it, is not ADA accessible?
Yeah, because it was put in years ago.
No, but I'm
Well,
just saying.
changed.
The little kid can't get at it or what?
No, you
It's
can get it
it's
as
to
a
do with the
chair.
drainage more than anything.
It's what, I'm
It's
sorry?
to do with the drainage more than anything. And then the stainless background, that's just public safety now. You gotta put stainless behind it. If you go into school, they all have a big stainless piece behind the water fountains now.
Oh, I have been in a school in a long time. Let's put it that way.
Well, the old ones have been retrofitted too, the high school and all that's got the behind them. So I'm guessing they're gonna have to do it. He said it's an option, but I don't know. The Dave Jones guy sounded like they had to do it.
Well, I guess I would still stick with Monona because they're gonna be here doing the,
Yep.
Yeah,
Yep.
I agree.
Why bother changing?
But are you going to include that 785 in your
necessary,
motion?
yes.
If it's necessary?
I would-
Is that all right with the second?
Yes.
To include that 785 if we have to do it. All right. There's no other discussion on the motion. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Motion carried. Next item, discuss and consider quotes to replace the town hall meeting room Wi-Fi access.
So the story behind that is that we're getting ready to put the court clerk into that room there. And we were looking at how to get a wired internet connection so she'd have a good solid connection in there. And it's a challenge to get another wire through out here. So we were looking to see if this one had an out port. It doesn't. So then we thought, well, maybe she can run wireless for a while and see how bad it is. But we've also noticed that the wireless is slower out here. And so I checked with Horseman to ask why. And it's because if you remember, we put this one in before we redid everything else in the building. So it's been here longer. And this one is apparently at the end of its useful life and is out of firmware update possibilities. So anyway, so I said, okay, what would it cost to replace that? Because this is running at about half of the speed of our one in the office. And so that you have two quotes. One replaces that, but the other one is a wall mounted one that actually has 3 out ports on it. So then you could take 3 wires, like one to that office and one to the building inspector's office or whatever. And you could actually have some wired out in this room and just use this same wire that goes to this one. So you wouldn't have to fish another wire to the office. You could move this over to the wall. He's got quite a bit of labor here, and I'm not sure if all that labor would be necessary. Well, like on the more expensive one, with the ports, he had 2.5 hours of labor, and I'm not sure. I don't see any reason why our guys can't install that. In fact, that's what he mentioned on the phone, that you guys should be able to install it. So I'm not sure it would come up to this much, but because if you look at the difference in price, if you get rid of the cable and the extra labor, it's not that much different. So I'm not sure why he quoted it the way he did. We shouldn't need any more cable either, I don't think.
No, we have quite a bit yet.
Can you do the installation?
Yeah. that's
He'll
no
have
problem.
to like adopt it into our network, and I don't know if he has to actually come out for that or if he can do that remotely, but I think that we can save some money on that labor. I don't know exactly how much, but.
Either, so these are sort of wrong then, or what, or this?
So I would think that you would be able to look at the difference between 279 and 209.
The 209 is an updated version of that, correct?
Yeah,
And the 279 is something that goes on the wall.
yeah, and I don't know why we would need him to come in for 2.5 hours to do that, because our guys can install that, and he and I even talked about that, so.
Well, is this something we have to approve tonight?
You don't have to tonight, no. If you want me to go back to him and ask him if
I think
you
think
can
that would be a
install it.
better idea, so we get an accurate price, you know?
Yeah, but, I mean,
Well, you just take out the
Well, we can't, we don't
on-site
know.
service and the cable.
No, but we don't.
280 versus, or you go with the 210.
You're gonna have the 101 hour to basically do his software installation part of it, I'm sure, instead of 2.5. And you don't need the cable.
Well, if Dan thinks he can do it, then I'd say let's go ahead and approve it.
And just approve 1 hour of labor and no additional cable.
Correct.
Okay, if he goes, this guy goes along with it, yeah,
If he tells me he can't do that, I'll bring it back to you.
okay.
But if you want to approve it that way, and then we can get it going if he sees some other reason for it. But I'm kind of guessing that the person that wrote the quote is not the person that I talked to.
So you want to approve the 119 for the install, right?
Yeah,
The 1 hour.
1 hour.
And you want to approve the 279.99.
Correct.
And that's it?
Yeah,
So I'd say, recommend approval for no more than $400,
Basically.
no more than 400. That's my motion.
motion by Fonger, second by
Second.
Duplay to approve $400 for the,
No more than, yeah.
no more than $400 for the, replace the Wi-Fi access point in the meeting room. Discussion. Hearing none, all those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Motion carries. Next item, discuss the use of ARPA funds. Did everybody watch the
Oh, God, yeah.
1 hour
Yep.
and try to get something out of it?
Like I said, you know how I feel. We should spend as much money as possible,
As soon as
as
possible.
soon as, and following those rules, we could pay for the radios and a partial payment on our fire truck.
And all of our drinking fountains.
Yeah. I mean, it seems like a no-brainer to me.
And what?
And the
Oh,
water
yeah,
softener.
I'm sorry, the water softener also.
Yeah, but it seems like it's a no-brainer to me.
How much was it that we had?
400, I don't have the exact amount, but it's 400 something in
400.
total, yeah.
So how much is our share of the radios?
I don't know.
It'll be less than that, I thought. Yeah, because of the fact
Yeah,
we're
it was
only
only
paying
about-
what,
I thought it was only like a 130,000.
I don't remember.
Well,
The
they were
fire
looking
and
for radios for
EMS.
both fire and for EMS.
right?
So we'd have to see, but I think we should tell them maybe to go ahead and get us
Some
price, see
serious
if,
quotes.
if the village wants to go along with that or not. Well,
They
this-
spent most of their ARPA funds already.
Yeah, they went sewer, I guess.
Yeah.
Sewer and lift station.
the only other thing we had looked at is that work done on Cascanon Creek. 5,000 we were going to put in for a university study, but then we don't know what they'll recommend, but
Did we pay for the study, our portion of the study already?
Yeah, it was in the
not yet.
budget. I thought it was in the budget, wasn't it?
It's in the budget, but we haven't paid for it.
No,
Okay, that's what's, yeah.
Did you all get interviewed by them?
Yes.
I emailed 3 times. They never got back to me. From the original message they got.
Really?
Never got back to me.
I never got a call.
Really?
Really?
Did you hear?
Yeah.
Nope. So I just said, screw it.
Hmm.
I got the original message that said he wanted to talk to me, so I texted back right away, gave him times, dates. Never got back to me. I did it again and nothing.
I feel hurt.
Dan, do you see anything for use of ARPA funds on your end? Culverts?
Depends on what I use them for. Can I use them to replace culverts though? I don't think so, can I?
Yeah, that's all.
Yes, you can.
You can.
So the one I was thinking of is the one on Vilas.
Violet's the big box culvert.
Yeah,
We can also get county fund for that though, county aid.
We can redo the end walls on the culvert at the 4200 block of Vilas.
We just need to dig that one out. It won't take long. I mean, yeah, we can. We just gotta get it planned, drawn up.
ask Nick to look at that and then to look at the pipe that Capital had to see if that would work.
We did all that already. He's gotta draw something up for replacement.
You're talking just a culvert or what?
Well, it's a box culvert, so it's
That needed?
almost a bridge
Yeah.
structure, almost. It's larger than 36 inches in diameter, so we can get county aid.
Very narrow there.
Yeah, the road's narrow. We need to widen the road out. It tapers down. It's right there by Gladeview on the hill.
So we should ask him for
He's gonna have
his estimate
to, he's got to figure up everything, yeah.
on price, and if those,
Can we pay him with the ARPA funds, his design and all that?
I don't
I
know.
don't think there was anything in there.
It was on, there was the chart. It was the chart that was up on the screen that had something to go along with the replacement. I thought I saw the word engineering in there, but don't quote me on that, but it was probably 2/3 of the way through the
Yeah.
and the chart was on the right-hand side of the page on the screen. I mean,
Yeah, which was in the back? Close to the back.
It was close to the back. Was it at the end of it? I don't.
yeah, I'd say probably
was-
2/3 of the way
yeah.
through. Just before they got into the affordable housing, giving free money to businesses, all that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
We either had.
Well, it's an overrun with the county, all that kind of stuff. I mean, It doesn't-
Sometimes when people.
they got money for that. The county does. I mean, why would we take our money to do the same thing?
I think that was more geared for bigger cities
Right.
where they would use that, not a township.
Well, the thing that was that below 9 million, you could get, you wouldn't have to use approvals or something?
Yeah. If you were, everybody was assumed to have 10 million loss.
Wish we'd given us $10 million.
Wow.
But so does ARPA cover the whole project or will it just cover?
He's looking at really.
I think so.
Yeah.
Let's do it then.
Well, but if you can get money from the county,
Well, we can get some. They usually cover, I don't remember what it is, 20%,
Yeah.
but we have to hire it done. We can't do it ourselves like we do our other culverts.
If we could get an estimate from Nick as to what that cost would be if those culverts would be usable. Then I could get a price from
He never did get back to me on that because he was supposed to,
underground.
he was
what
supposed to
cost-
figure
our
out,
cost would be.
yeah, he was supposed to figure out how much water them could handle. And because we measured this over here too, and he was gonna do a contrast on them when he had time, but he never got back to me. So I can make sure he does that.
So I did find the Deer Grove EMS radio thing. They wanted $21,891 from the town.
But that's if all 5 of us
Yeah,
paid in.
right.
Hello, and welcome to another episode of the U.S. Treasury Department
Okay.
series on reporting for the state and local fiscal recovery fund program.
I was gonna pull this up and see if I could find in this, you said it was,
it does mention culvert, so it's in there.
Yeah.
Well, when I get my culverts figured out that I'll have to do this year,
Well, you may as well.
I do that in the spring. I'm sure it'll be at least 4 or 5. Is every year.
Well, where we have the flooding all the time, could we do something there?
That'd be great.
Raise the road and
GeoGrid, you bet. Talking millions. It would be awesome. Tom Tabee said that project would cost, I don't know what he said, upwards of 10 million if we really wanted to fix it right.
Well, yeah.
Did we ever get stuff from Nick to reapply again for Violet's Hope Road?
So that's not available. That fund, that grant is not available anymore. That one ran out, expired. So they haven't ran another one since then.
Yeah. Okay.
He said he would keep his eye open on that, and he will also keep an eye out to see if anything similar pops up.
Yeah.
That's around that same style grant. I just read on one the other day, but that one didn't cover it either. There's always those grants popping up that they'll, but it seems like the cities get all of them.
Yeah.
They never give anything to little smaller municipals.
So radio is paying for a fire truck, culvert, the creek.
Yeah,
I see the one part that just says including culvert repair. I'm not seeing anything else saying, unless they talked about it, but
Last year, we had talked about shelters in some of the parks. Do we want to do a survey to see if who would want one?
I don't know, who wouldn't want one?
Well,
Linda said, you know, when they originally looked at this, that they'd like to put one in all the parks.
it may add traffic into parks if they know that they have a shelter there. I don't know how they would feel
I
about it.
don't think there's room at the one at Sandpiper.
No,
There's not room for a shelter there.
no, but some of the other ones, there is. And
There probably is at Sandpiper. It's just
just make it small.
some of that sand area there needs to be taken out because there used to be play equipment in there, then it got taken out, and that sand area is way bigger than it needs to be. We've been thinking about doing that, digging that sand out, and putting dirt down and grass again.
But when we send out the annual report, should we include something in there for
As well.
I think so. Yes.
survey of some sort?
Yeah.
If people would want us to look at using some of that money for a shelter of some sort.
I think the parks committee should be in charge of that. Let them
Well,
get
we
back to
could,
us, and
Yeah, that's who brought it up. No,
that's where it came up.
Yeah.
we could put it in the annual report and give them the information in May at our meeting.
You want the committee to write the survey?
No, that's why we have a committee, you know?
Yes.
Well, the only problem is if we don't follow the results of the survey, we're gonna get
There
in
you go
trouble.
again, yeah.
And
we'll just see if there's
I would,
interest.
I guess, at this point in time, a fire truck, EMS radios, all that kind of stuff
Yeah,
benefits
I mean,
everybody
that's gonna
in the
take out,
entire township.
that's gonna take most of that out, and it's gonna serve the majority of the township residents.
Well, let's see what we got left.
Okay,
Here's, this, I don't know if this is what you are remembering here, but I did find this. This is part of that webinar, and it just says additional Stormwater infrastructure, including culvert repair, resizing, and removal and replacement of storm sewers. Whoops, I don't know why that just moved. Oh, because it's plain. That's all I found.
But you'd have to do some, I mean, that's gotta be part of putting in a culvert, is design
You
it
gotta have some engineering on
needs
it.
to be used. Now, what is the reporting on this stuff? That was
In April, yes.
in, is it something simple, does it look like, or no, or
There's nothing out there yet. There's
that's
supposed to be
bad.
webinars coming up for small
Yeah.
town.
that's bad?
Or-
You sit here and talk what you can do, and then you don't tell you, well, maybe it's 58 pages, you know, like government always does.
Anything you can think of that the town hall would need? For ARPA funds? Okay,
Well, they got a new water cooler.
They cover roofs?
No.
Or ceiling of roofs? No? That's got to be done in this building at some point.
On this one?
I mean, the only
Why is it
thing I
rotten?
had thought of at one time was Badger books for the elections, but I don't
This
even know.
what?
Badger books for the elections, but I don't know if we can even get those from what I've heard.
The
So
voting things.
it's the electronic poll books. But I don't know, last I heard, you couldn't even get them, so I'd have to check again. See where that's all
Or if
at.
they're still gonna be legal yet, like our.
Well, I know, I know.
Like the mailbox out there?
I'm afraid to make a lot of changes because there's so much
up in the air.
like that going like that way. Yeah, I know.
You could have a mailbox right by the
Oh,
polling
it's
place.
illegal.
No, not for
Well,
ballots
they don't
anymore.
like drop boxes now.
None.
None.
I think that's got to be clarified.
Yeah, I thought so too,
Because they say at the clerk's office.
yes,
But, so I don't know if this is considered at the clerk's
well,
office.
that's how I read it.
Yeah.
You couldn't put them out in like a picnic area or something.
Yeah.
Look who's
Oh my God.
here in the flesh.
Somebody get impeached? You're out, Chris, move, you know.
Oh, my goodness.
Well, anyway, that's good. Good
Okay.
ideas, yep.
We'll run with those and see what we come up with. So Bill, you're just in time. We're just getting to discuss and consider Sprint easement on the plat right away required for the Uphoff Bridge replacement, which is such a convoluted mess.
It is, I had a chance to look at what Kim had sent over to me, and it is, from a title standpoint, it's sort of messed up. Everybody sort of goes, we really don't know. The question Kim had posed to me is, well, what is the risk to the town if we just proceed?
Yeah.
And, normally in these kind of things, I sort of say, there's not a lot of risk because you're a township, you're a municipality. You can condemn the land if you need to. In this case, you can't because it's owned by a utility. So you're not able to the extent they have an easement right that would conflict with that, we just can't condemn our way out of that problem. So that is troublesome. I guess I would say that the best way to proceed, because if I understand it right, we've already gone out for bid. The bids came back very favorably for us,
Right.
and we want to let the contracts. Sprint has not gotten back to us as to whether or not they would waive it or not. I think,
They don't know who can sign it.
They pretty much said they'll waive it, but they can't find anybody authorized to sign it.
yeah, and
For their company?
Yeah.
admittedly, I'm the cynical bastard lawyer, but I sort of say, really, you can't find somebody? I'm very cynical of that response. We do have that email from that consultant that said, hey, we don't see any reason why it would conflict. That's obviously not binding on Sprint. It really doesn't mean much.
Right.
I think I am at the point where, do we know, have people gone out there? Are there Sprint physical infrastructure anywhere that would conflict with what we're doing?
I don't think so.
Okay, because to me, there's two things that I would need to be fairly assured of. One is They don't have stuff in the area where we need to put our stuff.
Right.
And number two, that the Sprint easement, I haven't had a chance, I haven't seen it. As long as it's a non-exclusive easement, meaning the property owner can grant other easements. If we have those two things, I'd be comfortable saying to you all, we can go forward because it's not the end of the world if not. Because at the end of the day, their easement is one of these sort of old school, it's a blanket easement. It covers the entire parcel, meaning they can pick and choose wherever they want to put their stuff. The law in Wisconsin, at least, is if you have a blanket easement, once you put your stuff in, you've sort of picked your route. You can't 5 years later go, you know what, we choose a different route. So if there is stuff in there already and it doesn't conflict with what we're gonna do, I'm fairly confident in being able to tell you, you know what, they've picked the route, we're good. Conversely, if there's nothing in there, if they just haven't put anything in yet, I think we're fine there, because then we can say, if it came down to it, if 5 years from now, Sprint came and said, hey, we have an easement, we want to put our stuff smack dab in the middle of where your stuff is. At the end of the day, that's going to go to a court. And a court is going to say, your stuff is not in the ground yet, Sprint. The town stuff is in the ground. Unless there's some reason why you can't route it a different way, I'm going to direct that you route it that way. So really, as long as there's nothing in the ground right now that conflicts with what we have, and secondly, as long as their easement isn't exclusive, I doubt it is. None of those are. I haven't been, usually they're non-exclusive easements to the
I
utility.
sent you those, right?
I didn't, not the easement itself. I didn't see that. I saw there was a court imposed.
Isn't that, yeah.
What do you have?
Okay. This is what I sent you. Maybe this isn't an easement, but that was what the second email that I sent with from Amanda that was supposed to clear it all up.
Oh, this is the court ordered easement.
Well, there's two easements. There's the, yeah. This is the
Court
one.
order.
Okay, so the easement from 1987, it expressly says it's non-exclusive. So we're good there. The property owner then is free to grant additional easements, including to us, as long as they don't conflict with Sprint's property rights. So really is all we're left with then. Does Sprint have anything in the ground right now that would conflict with what we want? And as long as it doesn't, I'm comfortable telling the board we can proceed. There's always risks because title is screwed up, but at least the risks are minimal.
Yeah, I talked to a Whitman in Ohio 10 days ago, and I had the same story. He didn't know who could sign it. They were ready to sign it, but they didn't know who could sign it. I said, well, look at your job descriptions. Somebody's got to be able to sign off on it.
Just kick it upstairs, find someone with bigger shoes.
Well, presumably they have either fiber or copper, presumably in the ground somewhere around.
Yeah.
My knowledge, it's fiber that runs along the bike path. That's Sprint. That's the only thing I know they have out there.
That's my best guess too.
Well, I think worst case scenario for the town would be if they do have fiber in the ground at the exact area that would conflict with what we want to do. Your worst case scenario is you'd have to pay to relocate that fiber, you know, which would get expensive. And legally, if I'm being upfront with you, Sprint would have the right to say, we're not moving it. You know, we'd end up going into court and getting a court order removed to relocate.
So we have to find that out. Or we don't,
Well, I think
shouldn't they be able to tell you?
it would give me much more comfort if we knew there wasn't anything there. At the end of the day, not knowing it, if there is something there, whether it's there or not, if it's there, we're gonna have to pay to relocate. That we just,
Yeah, I mean, this is from heirs. They don't think it's even going to cross the easement.
right.
So I don't know why we would,
So we're making a problem out of a problem before it's a problem?
simply because they won't sign off on it.
Kinda.
Yeah, no, you're absolutely right, because the unknown, we have to assume the worst case scenario.
Yeah.
And it's probably not the worst case, but, you know,
But I think the bid for the bridges came in $100,000 less than what was expected, so we would still have some money left.
yeah, if I'm being frank, 100,000 would do a lot, would pay to relocate the driveway.
And so if we're okay taking on this risk, then they can award that contracts and get them signed, and we can proceed with pre-construction meeting and get everything rolling for replacement of those both bridges this summer.
Other than phone calls, should we put something in writing to Sprint?
Yeah, they're already on notice,
Oh, they are.
you know,
From
so.
us?
From heirs.
Oh,
Right,
okay.
right, which is good enough. They're our agent.
Yeah,
You know, they're on notice. I think that's the best we can do under these circumstances. You know, I mean, the cynic in me says, well, why the hell can't they find somebody? Are they being coy with us? But it is a large bureaucracy. It certainly is possible. They don't know who the hell to figure out to sign it. Everything we have indicates there's nothing in the ground that conflicts with what we have. But it is our burden because our easement is second to theirs.
right. So does the town want to take the risk?
I say, yeah,
Is that a motion?
sure is.
Is there a second?
Second.
Second by Anders. Motion was by Duplay to
go ahead and
go ahead with the bridge replacement up off bridge.
Well, so what'll happen is that they're gonna Ayers is gonna update the plat to not have the Sprint easement in it,
Yeah,
basically.
Mhm.
Yeah. So that's what you're directing and assuming the risk of doing.
yeah. Any discussion on that motion? All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Motion carried. Public Works.
Well, we got all Christmas trees picked up. We found one more today.
Oh.
Done with them, so as we find them throughout the township in the next month, we'll still pick them up, but they never get put out on time. And then last week, we assisted the EMS chief. They got a flat tire from that accident down here. We took it up to Graham's for him, and I told him, whenever you have an issue like that, call us. He didn't know if he could call us for that stuff. And I told him, yeah, that's why we're here. So we got that taken care of for him.
Give me your bad news.
Yeah, and then I had some bad news this morning. Unexpected bad news. So Mike, our new gentleman, is leaving.
Our new guy.
New guy. He's going to town of Bristol
What?
Going to go work for Jerry, huh?
for more money. Yeah.
Yeah, oh yeah.
They added a new position, new full-time position, so he'll be the second man there.
You say how much he's getting?
24 to start, $1 raise after the first year.
21.
And we're at what?
21. That's after 6%.
Yeah, but Bristol's
There's
a richer township than we are.
2,900 people in the township.
Yeah, but
Looked it up today, just curious.
So we're gonna advertise.
Well, we'll talk about it. We'll see what's going on. I don't know if I want to hire anybody right now. Somebody that doesn't know the roads and then throw them in a big truck that, if we can get somebody with a CDL.
yeah, trying somebody new. First winter
We
up on
shouldn't-
the road, first time.
We shouldn't just get a guy on call for the big snows and let us handle it for the rest of the winter and then see what spring brings. We'll hire, advertise in the spring.
That might be a good bet.
What's that?
I said that might be a good bet.
You know,
As long as you get someone that's dependable that you can hold it.
like we were lucky Mike had a CDL. He drove semi. So, I mean, he was pretty comfortable jumping in a truck, but
Yeah, but wouldn't you, why not just advertise and say you have to have a CDL, period?
we do that every time, Mike.
Well, then if we don't get anybody, we don't get anybody. Maybe you will get somebody.
All right. That's up to
You know what I mean?
That's your
Maybe
guys'
you will.
decision.
And if you don't get one, you don't get one. We're not out anything.
Do you think any of our retirees would be willing to be on standby?
If we want them. I had one guy in mind pop in my head right away, and he just recently retired from the village, Tim Taylor. He would be a good candidate just to put on as a, if we need somebody, just because he is younger. You know, he's about 59, 58. I mean, it would only be on big snowfalls. That's all I'd ask for.
What's the village paying?
They hired their new guys at 25 and 27, I believe.
So this guy might want to come and do part-time.
I haven't
You
talked
got
to
a
him.
big snowball?
I haven't, it's just the first name I thought of.
No, what the heck? If he wants to do it, great.
And then I know town of Albion just hired a new guy at 25.
Okay. Work on it.
Okay.
Anything else?
Nope.
Works office.
Tell them about the janitors.
Oh, yes.
So the week of Christmas, there was no cleaning. Usually the cleaning is on the weekend. After the weekend of New Year's, there was no cleaning. So I contacted Coverall. I was told that our usual cleaner, and you know, it's a franchise under Coverall, had informed Travis at Coverall that he was going out of the country, but he had somebody that was going to cover for him, and this person had clearance, had gone through the background check process for the police station. He didn't know who he was, and I didn't know anything about it either. I found out later that our current cleaner, Louise, had also talked to Jen and told her the same thing, but she didn't know who the replacement was either. We didn't know anything about it here in the office. So anyway, that was the Monday after New Year's. That afternoon and evening, someone showed up and cleaned. I saw them on the camera at here. I also knew it because they left the key hanging in the door on the outside.
Oh, my gosh.
And so then I heard that somebody had cleaned the police station. So I asked them if they knew who it was, and I sent them the video that I got off of the Ring doorbell, and they said it was the same guy, but we didn't know who it was. Nobody knew who it was because they're supposed to have clearance there. So then this guy showed up looking for his key. And so then I was able to get his name and check with the county, and no, he does not have clearance. So I did give him the key back. He didn't clean this weekend. I would expect he might clean again tonight, but he's not going to get let into the police station. Travis did agree that we're going to get credited for the weeks that we don't get cleaning, but I don't know. I kind of clued Bill in on this too, and I don't know. I'm imagining that what Travis told me was, as far as the franchise goes, their thing is 3 missed cleanings is abandonment of contract as far as they're concerned with their franchisees. So they didn't do that, but I mean, it's quite a
Cluster.
yeah.
But it's not that little guy's problem. It's the manager. He's the guy that's responsible to get us somebody to be cleanest.
So I think that probably we will be be able to tell him, we want somebody else because that was not right. What happened there, we should not have had somebody. And the other thing that happened, of course, coincidentally, was the person alone at the police station that day was a restricted duty deputy who had no idea about any of it and just let him in. And so that's been addressed from the sheriff's office side. But yeah, it was quite a string of.
Almost reminds you of a Keystone Cops episode.
So I don't know. If I'm sure Travis is just going to want to find another franchisee, and I don't know if our contract says that's what we have to do or not. So I have talked to Bill about that, or at least filled him in. I haven't gotten any answers, but that's the story.
You want to get out of it and see if we can find something else.
Yeah.
Yeah, Kim did send it to me. I haven't had a chance to look at it yet. That's one of those unfortunate things where we can probably terminate it for breach, but it's sort of like, be careful what you ask for, because, in this day and age now, we have to find somebody else to do it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, I would like to find somebody local that, with some community dedication or whatever the word is, a stake in the community a little bit more.
Like Fred.
Well, not exactly like.
Fred was dedicated.
Wow.
So anyway, I think that's all I had.
Okay, board reports and communications. I met this morning with Paul Vitucci. And and said basically the same things we've said all along. And so we left it that his attorney would draft a developer's agreement. Wanted to have a developer's agreement. I said, fine, you send it to us. We'll send it to Bill and we'll talk about it.
He wasn't happy with what the town board did, I take it.
Well, he understood, I think, that we need the road and he needs to get his building size so that meets NFPA. And how do we end up getting there is going to be the question for getting road dedication and or building it.
I texted with Nick Archibald, our fire chief, about this, and he said that they have to inspect the buildings every year and that without having,
Having them too long, they get cited.
right, every year they would be in violation because they're too long from a road for fire
Oh, I
protection.
see.
And
He didn't care about that.
But he also, Nick Archibald said that we could, as a municipality, require them to put in a well and
Cistern.
cistern.
So,
Has Mr. Vitucci tried to get insurance yet?
pardon?
Has he tried to get insurance yet?
Not to my knowledge.
I wonder if that's gonna,
He didn't seem to care about when I told him that it would make his insurance go down if he got rid of that 48 feet. So we'll see what happens.
It just smells.
You just keep looking into the company.
Yeah, I'm just not comfortable with the whole thing.
I didn't vote for it. It just didn't feel right.
I regret the way
Anyway,
something's better than nothing at this point in time. At least it's not.
yeah. We had no committee meetings since our last meeting. So the next item is convening closed session.
Well, emergency government first. Richard would like to be on the emergency government.
Okay, so you
I
want
would, yeah, I
put
think it'd
that
be
on
great.
the next agenda
Yeah,
for
so we should,
to approve his
but I can
appointment?
tell him and,
yeah, nobody else
yeah,
came forward.
but he'd be a good one.
Who's Richard Wood?
He's the one that came in about the cable.
He lives out on East Ridge.
Got some knowledge.
Oh,
Yeah.
okay, yep.
I think it'd be good.
So we put that up on the next agenda for approval then.
Yep.
Motion to convene in closed session pursuant to Wisconsin statute 19.85, parent 1, parent E, deliberating or negotiating the purchase of public properties, the investing of public funds, or conducting other specified public business whenever competitive or bargaining reasons require closed session. Proposed boundary agreement with City of Madison.
So move.
Motion
Second.
by Williams, second by Anders. Fonger.
Aye.
Andrews, Hampton, aye. Williams.
Aye.
Aye.
Duplay, aye. For closed session.
Oh, thank you. Thank you.
So our one other spectator did just leave. I'm gonna stop the recording for the closed session and lock the meeting so nobody else can come on.
Who was on there?
Tom Matthews, he's a supervisor from the town of Verona.
Really?
Really?
This conference will now be recorded.
She won't say it, but it's back on. Go ahead.
So the direction was for Bill to make those 2 changes. And can you send that to the clerk? And then we'll send it to Brian Grady, telling him that we're going to give it our 20-day notice for a public hearing to pass the resolution and see what he says.
Sure. You said the changing the dates of the effective date
Sure.
and taking out the,
Cooperative borrow, get rid of that section and change the date to what?
Whatever.
January
Somewhere in the future.
31st of 2022 to 2032 and
And it's still in that it would renew for another 10 unless.
yes. Okay,
So I'm gonna send it to Brian and we're gonna post a notice of a public hearing right
Well,
away, or you want to hear back from Brian first?
I want to hear back from him first.
Okay.
Okay, so you want to know if they would approve it? Is that what you're saying?
Yeah.
Yeah.
If
But
he
then the
comes
date should
back
be
and
farther out.
says, no, we don't like this, well, then I think we're done.
You pick a date, 3 months or something from now, or whatever. you know.
Whatever it realistically is gonna take to
Yeah.
get it done.
Yeah.
So there's time to
Right.
do this.
So is that just direction? You're not doing a motion?
Right.
Okay.
So we adjourn.
Second.
Motion by Dupuis, second by Williams, non-debatable, all in favor, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign, motion carries. Thank
for
you.
coming.
sure, thank you. Sorry, I was trying to I saw it on the agenda and I'm like, well, I should be a little after 7, but not too late, and hope I timed it okay.